I'm Tim. I'm a program director here at NaNoWriMo. Been here for a little while now. How much detail did you go into for these? So my writing routine, I have a long commute now, so it takes me about like anywhere between like 30 minutes to like an hour to get to work. I've been using that time actually really to do a lot of ideating, brainstorming, thinking about my characters. My book is on the top of my mind a lot of time anyway, and so just thinking about like kind of like different scenarios about the characters. I think that's actually been one of the positive things about having a commute, has been like a lot more time to kind of like where you can't really escape and you're bored enough and you can't watch TV, and so you actually do the hard work of thinking about your novel. I get into work hella early, around 6, and then I don't technically start working until like 7, and so for an hour in the morning, you know, I've spent like half an hour driving down to work thinking about my novel, and then usually by the time I get into the office I have like a lot of stuff that I want to write down anyway, and so I'll start writing down the notes that I was thinking about and then kind of move into a scene. I've been continuing work on this novel for the last several NaNoWriMo related events. Tips I have for continuing a project if you are like me and you're continuing work on something you've already started. What I've done with that to kind of like get back into the writing groove, there's like a couple things for this particular project I'm working on right now, like a couple interviews actually, and news articles, and like a couple poems that like I feel are really relevant to what I'm writing, and so sometimes I'll go back and read one of those things, and that'll kind of get me in the mindset of like think in my work, in my novel's world again, and so that'll really help me get back into it. My second tip would be, it's really tempting every time you sit down to be like, oh, I've got to reread everything. Don't do that ever, because really what happens is you just get into a shame spiral most of the time. If you do reread, and I do think like, you know, like at least a couple, like 1 or 2 scenes, like no big deal, and it actually helps you get back into the rhythm of your story. For me, when I do that, I read out loud, because I think it helps me get the voice of it in my head to actually like really listen to the way that it's flowing, I guess. And for me, like writing has always been a lot about flow anyway, and so it kind of helps me get back into the current of the thing, if that makes sense. My third tip is try not to get too precious about anything, because I think for me, like one thing I've struggled with is like, oh, like I established way back when that like this person actually has like this kind of power, or that this person is related to this person in this way, and so I have to stay consistent. And so like even though I have this cool idea or like an or something that I think might work better, I can't do that because I've already established this other thing. Trying not to let that make you too rigid about like where your story wants to go or where you feel like your story is evolving, I think is a huge thing like I've been learning from continuing work. Don't get lost in kind of like trying to fix everything to align with what you're currently drafting. Leave all that for future you.
Ta-da! Alright, talk us through your survival plan.
If this is what I had to help me survive in the wilderness, it's like a forest or something? I'd say it's a forest. I did take a wilderness survival training in junior high. Did not go well. But I think in that case, I'd find like a nice tree, and then maybe make like a bed pile or something out of dead leaves, and then I'd like cuddle with this guy, and I'd be like, cool, I hope someone finds me. It's probably honestly what would happen.